I don't know about you, but I am getting a little bit over ChatGPT. Hear me out. I'm a little bit nervous about sharing the thoughts that I'm going to in this video because, quite frankly, it feels like I'm saying the opposite of what the entire world is moving towards. But I feel like I can't be the only one who feels this way. So I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to share my honest opinions and feelings and just raw emotions about AI and ChatGPT in this video. For context, back in May of this year, I made a video talking all about the weird, wonderful, practical, lots of ways in which I was using ChatGPT and you were underusing it. That video has been one of the top performing videos on my channel ever. But on that video, I also got a lot of comments like this. Now, my reaction to those comments back in May 2025 was, these people are ridiculous. They are not seeing the value. They are the ones who are going to miss out. I really hope my video changes their mind. Now, fast forward 5 to 6 months down the track, I'm kind of starting to feel almost the opposite of how I felt in that video. I'm kind of starting to resonate with some of those, let's say, more negative comments that people left on that video. I'm starting to see their perspective. I'm also feeling very overwhelmed, maybe a little bit burnt out, and maybe just a little bit numb by AI and ChatGPT. Now, don't get me wrong, I am still absolutely 100% using AI and ChatGPT, especially for work. Like, everything I'm talking about in this video is very much geared towards personal life and personal usage. In a work context, in a professional business setting, I think these tools are incredible and you have to use them in order to stay relevant, in order to stay ahead and on par with your competition. So let's leave work and professional life aside. But in my personal life and for personal use, I'm, yes, still using it, but my enthusiasm that I had in that video back in May about how I use it for anything and everything, it's definitely worn off. Maybe it was a bit of a honeymoon period. And in this video, I'm going to be deep diving into exactly what has changed my mind. For a little bit of context, I think my journey with AI is probably a smidge ahead of the very average person. And that is simply because I was very, very motivated to stay ahead, to stay relevant, to stay upskilled because of my tech career. I also really wanted to make a lot more videos on my YouTube channel about AI because I knew that was a trending hot thing and I saw an opportunity for it. And that video that I posted in May did exactly what I thought it would. So you might be wondering, Anika, what changed? This all sounds great. A new technology came about. You were really motivated and inspired to learn it. You had a practical application to it, like in your career. You could talk about it and educate others. Like, what happened? Then a few months ago, I found myself in a place where I was feeling really disconnected from a lot of the things that I usually would love doing. You know, just take YouTube as an example. I absolutely loved brainstorming and ideating for new video ideas. Like, you could not stop me coming up with a new idea, like every single day. And my Notion backlog would get out of control because I had so many ideas spiraling all the time. I used to love scripting, filming, and editing videos. Those things gave me energy. And suddenly, I dreaded almost starting those tasks. And that's just one example of many other really small and even bigger things in life that I used to love doing. Now, being the deeply reflective and analytical person that I am, like I said, I set out on a mission to figure out, why is it that I'm feeling this way? I am not one to just accept myself being in a bit of a rut. I am always going to, no matter how long it takes, try and figure out what is causing my rut and how the hell am I going to get out of it. Now, fast forward several months of deep thinking and reflection, I think I have my answer. And it's not 100% of the answer, but it's a really, really big part of it. And the answer to me feeling disconnected is AI/ChatGPT. I am a little bit nervous to say that and put it out onto the internet. By the way, it's important to keep in mind that, like I said, my job, my career is also in the tech world. So that basically means I am being bombarded by and surrounded by AI talk 95% of the time. Obviously, it's like top of mind at work, and that's great. But after work, I can't even switch that off because it's everywhere. So now that I've told you that I believe AI/ChatGPT is the reason that I was feeling a little bit and just disconnected and really not like myself, let's deep dive into all of the reasons that I believe I started to feel this way and the things that have shifted my perspective on my future use of these tools. A small disclaimer, I am purely talking about this from my own experience, and if there is anything that I want from this video, it's just to see if other people also feel this way and maybe find a bit of a community here and how you are all navigating this monumental change we are all going through together. That is the objective. It's to share my experience, my perspective. Right, now the first and biggest thing that I want to talk about is how I feel like I am losing my ability to think creatively. I feel like, as I said, I have a little spark for tasks that I absolutely used to love. Tasks that used to make little things in my brain explode. Now, I don't have any scientific reason for why this directly correlates to AI or ChatGPT, but I think for me, it's simply that because I don't have to rely on my own brain now to come up with creative ideas, like in some sense you can outsource them, I feel like I've started to use that muscle less, and that is fully on me, and I'm glad I realized this so early in my adoption of these tools. So I'm not necessarily blaming the tools for this. I'm saying it's made me more conscious of how maybe I shouldn't just default to brainstorming something with ChatGPT, and I should actually start that brainstorm myself to get my brain thinking in a certain way, and then maybe use the AI tool to build upon those ideas, like as an example, because I basically stopped doing that. I would just default to starting ideas, brainstorms, thoughts, whatever it was, with a conversation with this chatbot. Now, a YouTube video, again, is a great example of this because I used to write my YouTube scripts from scratch and it would take me hours and hours and hours. Then I suddenly realized, wow, maybe I could be writing like 5-10 scripts at once, like churning them out. And not to say I went that extreme, but I started fully relying on ChatGPT to write my scripts to the point where I started feeding it my previous videos and my previous scripts so it could learn about how I like to talk and how I like to phrase things, and so it sounds like me when it's writing me those scripts. But guess what? The joy of just reading out a script that was written for you by a bot, it just doesn't hit the same. And I cannot even articulate that script in the same way as I am articulating this one, for example, which, by the way, I used 0 AI tools to write. And it was really fulfilling to write this script all on my own. And secondly, as I'm reading the script out loud now, filming this video, it feels so authentic, and I just know what to say and it rolls off the tongue because I've written it myself and it's just my thoughts. There is no other layer of any external guidance to my script, if you know what I mean. Now, next thing is that I feel like everything is the same. Let me give you an example that I heard recently of, I believe it might be Anthropic, where startups can go and create a landing page using Anthropic, maybe Claude, I don't know, one of those tools. And for the most part, every single startup landing page is going to look the exact same. Now, of course, it's up to the person using that tool to work with it and come up with something that is tailored and specific and, again, not just the thing that it first spit out. I feel like we are getting to a place where everyone is talking the same, everyone is writing the same, the things that you're starting to read all formatted and, again, like structured in a similar way. I need to think of better examples for this, but it's just how I feel, like a sense of sameness. Now, how is that sameness meant to benefit any of us? What happened to different perspectives? What happened to different ways of talking, different ways of writing, like quirky ways of writing? What happened to imperfection? Because now suddenly everything is perfect. Example here, WhatsApp now allows you to summarize the messages in a conversation you're having with a friend. A friend and I were joking about this the other day, saying we don't even need to be involved in the WhatsApp conversation anymore. The AI can probably just have the conversation by itself. Okay, the next thing is mental block. Basically, I feel like I am becoming incredibly lazy to the point where I don't want to start things from scratch anymore. Partly because I don't have to, but also because I don't want to. I've just become so reliant on not having to ever do anything from scratch. Again, going back to the YouTube brainstorming example, do you know how fulfilling it is to actually just sit there and think creatively and in different ways about what you want to say in a YouTube video versus getting the ChatGPT to just write you a bullet list that structures that script? I also have this weird thought sometimes, which is not true, of I cannot do it by myself anymore. You know, it's like maths now, like you've got a calculator, so why would you bother doing a maths equation? You've got Google Maps in your car, like why would you bother trying to figure out the route to getting somewhere? Well, guess what? There are really great benefits of doing that, which I cannot articulate, but there are really good benefits of doing that for the way you feel, for your brain, and just for the way that you think. But I've got into this weird place where I'm sometimes staring at a blank page and I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I need to use the tool. And I don't want to feel like that. Like, I don't want to lose my ability to think. Like, I still want to be able to have a blank page before me and fill it up with whatever I need to, even though I have the ability to go and use a tool to help me. It should be my choice. It shouldn't be something I'm just now automatically defaulting to. Now, again, this could be a me problem. I don't know. Maybe I went too hard with using ChatGPT back in May, like I talked about, but it's something that I really, really, really want to tackle. The next one is that I have this sense of things no longer feeling as purposeful or tasks losing meaning. Again, if you don't have to do something by yourself anymore, and you can kind of like outsource it or get someone else to do it for you, the someone being the ChatGPT, then like, what's the point? I think this is great for tasks that you don't enjoy doing, maybe you are not skilled at doing, or you have better ways to use your time. Amazing for that. But using the YouTube script example again, writing a YouTube video script was super purposeful and so incredibly meaningful. Now when I think about the fact that I can just get a script churned out for me, and guess what? Everyone else is doing that too. One, you have the problem of the same, but secondly, what's the point in me sitting there spending hours and hours and hours writing something that I could, again, have a conversation with this bot and get in 10, 15 minutes? So like the process of something I really used to enjoy and get a lot of value and satisfaction and fulfillment from, and probably even to some extent skills from, like refining my writing and my communication skills, just doesn't feel as meaningful anymore. But I'm working on it, and I'm so happy to report, like actually writing this video from scratch has proven to me that it still has purpose, but I almost feel like I need to do it for myself for it to have that meaning. Let me know if you have any examples in your own life of this. Let me know if any of these resonate also, by the way. Okay, the next one, I feel like I'm losing my ability to focus, and this is not an AI only problem. I'll be the first to admit. I think it's partly also a social media, our attention span, short form videos. It's all contributing, right? So maybe it's just getting to its peak now, and we're all starting to feel that, or at least I certainly am. Basically, with not being able to focus, I realized I don't know if I have the ability anymore to sit for long periods of time to concentrate and think about or solve something really complex or really challenging. Like, how do I use that muscle that I would use in that kind of scenario, again, if I don't have to? Or I use it in a very different way, which is again just conversing with a bot. So it's hard for me to say exactly how much of the focus part is related to this, but the fact that, again, I sit there and I have a blank page problem, then I struggle to sit there for long enough, right? Because of the blank page problem, and because I know I have access to these tools, and because I've also lost some sense of using this muscle that I have, so I find it harder to use. And then because all of these tools are on browsers or on laptops or whatever, of course I'm going to not be able to focus because there are so many other things happening on my screen. I think a part of the focus problem here is with that. I personally think it's really difficult to just stay like super in tune with like that one conversation you are having. But again, I don't think this is an AI only problem. Yeah, so I don't know what more to say about this one. I'm still simmering on this, but I do feel like there is some aspect of lack of needing to sit and do something for a lengthy amount of time that is affecting my ability to focus. Okay, now the next one is something I've alluded to, and it is lacking a sense of fulfillment. For me, this is huge. I need to feel a sense of fulfillment after doing something, because I believe that is probably what gives you the dopamine to want to do that thing again. Now, sometimes when I use an AI tool to do something, I kind of feel like I haven't done anything, if you know what I mean. Like, so many things feel so effortless, but again, therefore, they feel meaningless. And therefore, because I haven't done that much, but have a conversation and fired a few sentences out, it doesn't feel that fulfilling. And again, I don't deserve that sense of achievement feeling because I didn't really do all that much. You know, sometimes you just need to do the thing. Like, you need to write the blog, you need to design the brochure, you need to write up a pros and cons list yourself. Like, you need to write this script from just your brain alone to truly feel like, I created this. I'm someone that is really driven by, again, feeling a sense of fulfillment from tasks, and especially if I create something tangible. So for me, that's scripting the video, then filming the video. This is a very tangible, practical process for me. And if I'm heavily involved in every part of it, that's what gives me that feeling. And again, when you kind of outsource parts of it, or you don't put as much into it, especially the parts that you really enjoy and you're really good at, it starts to contribute towards you feeling like, well, I didn't really do that much. And when I say you, and the last but not least, I just wanted to throw out there that another thing that bothers me about all of this is fear of judgment about feeling this way about these things. I do talk to my close friends about this, and yes, there is definitely a shared sentiment, but broader than that, it is scary to talk about feeling this way about something that is just full force, gonna change the world and is changing the world. The pressure to conform is very real, especially again, if you operate in certain environments and in certain industries, you do have that pressure. That's about as far as I got with my reflection and my self-diagnosis of why I was feeling disconnected. Now, where am I going to draw the line with AI? I am not saying it is bad to use AI. My perspective is simply that we need to be more intentional about how and when we use it. I personally want to be more intentional about it not just becoming the default for anything and everything that I need to do. Ultimately, that is up to each and every person to decide for themselves about how they want to adopt it or when they want to adopt it, how deep they want to go into it, like I did back earlier this year. We're all wired and operate very differently, so what isn't working for me might work for you. But for me, I just feel like now I have been using it for long enough, and it's still very early, so it's technically not that long, where I'm starting to feel the effects of it on my motivation, on my enjoyment in simple tasks, on my critical thinking skills, and honestly, who knows what else. Ultimately, I believe we still need to be engaging our brains for challenging, complex thinking, as well as simple, boring tasks. It is so important for your brain to do boring, mundane things as well. So, having said all of that, what am I still using ChatGPT for? Well, I can tell you I still use it every single day, multiple times a day. I love it for quick questions, knowledge, research, practical how-tos, especially around the house or out and about. But I am starting to now think twice before just defaulting to letting ChatGPT do a task for me that I'm good at, that I enjoy, that I know is actually going to make me feel better if I ultimately do it, even if it takes me a little bit longer. So that's how I'm thinking about it for now. What is the right balance? I don't know. Again, I think we are all going to be figuring this out. But yeah, that is why I've changed my mind on ChatGPT and AI. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I would especially love to hear practical tips, recommendations, how you are all practically navigating this. I don't believe you can survive in the world going forward without using these tools, and that's obviously not what I'm advocating for. But how do you strike the balance when the temptation to just fall into using them is so strong because they are so proliferated everywhere that it's hard to ignore. So with that all being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it if you got this far, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.